Yo, time to wake 'em up!
Hello and welcome to Discover 360. I hope you enjoyed this channel. It is dedicated to artificial intelligence, travel and tech.
Yo, check the mic, 1, 2.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Thanks for watching.
Next cipher begin!
All right, we're diving deep into what might be one of the most important intelligence leaks in the history of AI. The day Claude Code's entire source code just spilled onto the internet. And this isn't just a story about a clumsy mistake. It's about what that one little slip-up revealed about where AI is heading. And that's really the big question here, isn't it? This wasn't some sophisticated state-sponsored hack. There was no insider espionage. It was just one file, one simple human error that completely exposed the product strategy of Anthropic, a company valued at a staggering $380 billion, by the way, and getting ready for an IPO. So how in the world does a mistake this big even happen? Well, the truth is almost unbelievably simple, and that's what makes it so wild. The whole thing came down to a single file called a source map. Now, if you're not a developer, think of it like this. A source map is a secret decoder ring. It takes all the jumbled, compressed code that runs on a website and turns it back into the clean, human-readable original version, complete with all the developer's private comments. They accidentally shipped the decoder ring with the secret message. And once it was out, the internet did what it does best. It moved at lightning speed. At 4 in the morning, a researcher posts a link. By the time the US woke up, the code was everywhere. But here's the kicker. People didn't just look. A developer named Sigrid Jin had already rewritten the whole thing, creating an open source clone that went viral like instantly. The pace of it all was just breathtaking. So, the cat was out of the bag. But what exactly did people find? What secrets were hiding inside Anthropic's golden goose? This analogy from a Reddit user is just perfect. The leak didn't expose the core AI model. That's the engine. What it did expose were the blueprints, the entire architecture, the tools, the systems, the instructions, everything you need to know to build your own version of the car. And we're not talking about a simple sketch. These were some serious blueprints. Over 500,000 lines of detailed, commented code. Just to put that into perspective for you, that is more code than it took to run the original space shuttle's flight software. This wasn't a page, it was the entire playbook. And buried inside that playbook was a treasure map. Anthropic's entire future product roadmap. We're talking unreleased features like Kairos, an AI agent that just works by itself in the background. A self-healing memory system. Even the secret code names for their next-gen models, like Capybara. It was a direct look into their brain. But maybe the most explosive discovery was a file named undercover.ts. The code was literally a set of instructions for Claude to secretly contribute code to open-source projects, while hiding its identity as an AI. It was designed to be a ghost in the machine, which, as you can imagine, raises some huge ethical flags in the open-source world. And it just kept getting wilder. Developers also found this anti-distillation flag. What does it do? Well, its job was to basically poison the well. If it detected that a competitor was trying to scrape its data to train their own AI, it would start feeding them garbage. A purely strategic and pretty ruthless feature. But the story doesn't end with people just gawking at the code. No, the community took it a massive step further. They didn't just look at the blueprints, they rebuilt the car from the ground up. And check out the difference. The original is this massive, closed-off proprietary beast. The open-source clone, Claude Code, is a super lean, efficient, and fast rewrite. Now, this is what's known as a clean room implementation. They didn't just copy-paste the code. They studied the architecture and rebuilt it from scratch. That's a really crucial legal distinction. And the demand for this thing was off the charts. It got 105,000 stars on GitHub in one day. That's a record. It was the developer community screaming with a unified voice that they wanted an open, transparent alternative. So, of course, Anthropic had to respond, but their attempt to put out the fire, well, it pretty much created a whole new explosion of controversy. Their first move was to go scorched earth. They just blanketed GitHub with more than 8,000 copyright takedown notices to try and scrub any trace of the leak from the internet. And almost immediately, they had to take it all back. They retracted nearly every single one of those notices because the community backlash was so intense. So why did everyone get so angry? Because the takedown was a sloppy, automated mess. It wasn't just hitting copies of the leak. It was taking down people's copies of Anthropic's own public code and even some totally unrelated projects. It was a spectacular own goal. And this comment from the tech site /dot just perfectly captured the mood. It really highlights the sense of hypocrisy a lot of people were feeling. And this is the real tension at the heart of the story. You have a company that's currently being sued for training its AI on mountains of copyrighted books and scraped data without permission. And that same company is now using copyright law as a weapon to protect its own stuff. To a lot of people, that felt like a major double standard. So let's zoom out. Beyond all the drama, what are the real long-term consequences of this leak? Because this event has fundamentally changed the AI landscape. This whole incident leaves us with some giant unresolved questions. For starters, if it's true that an AI wrote 90% of this code, can Anthropic even copyright it? Courts have already started ruling that AI-generated work can't be copyrighted. And then there's operational security. For a multi-hundred-billion-dollar company about to IPO, 2 major leaks in 1 week is a massive red flag for any investor. But here's the biggest takeaway of all. The harness, that whole complex system of tools and permissions that you build around an AI model to make it useful, that's no longer a trade secret. The industry's playbook for how to build a production-grade AI agent is now public knowledge. And all of this brings us to one final huge question. A question this leak has forced the entire tech world to confront. In an age where AI is writing the code when the code literally writes itself, who on earth actually owns it?